Hey everybody, it's Eugene Upperman from newscreative.net and welcome to the introductory video for Showcase. This is the business edition, and before I get into exactly what this preset is all about, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background as to how it came about. Now, as a graphic designer, I often do corporate identities, logo designs, letterheads, business cards, whatever the case, for clients and businesses, and I always spend about 99% of the quoted amount of time actually crafting the logo, getting it all fitting together. And then when it came down to the presentation, actually showing the client, I always ran out of time. It's just one of these things as a graphic designer, that you always run out of time. And as a result, the presentation was always a little bit sloppy. To showcase his identity, I would throw flat vector artwork onto a spread and really just try to explain it through. And it's a little bit like taking a beautiful model to a really bad photo shoot, in that you can only do so much to explain and convey the design ideas and how beautiful this identity really looks. Now, knowing Cinema 4D as well, I came up with the idea to make a collection of preset items, customizable preset items that I can easily throw together. These are obviously all business related, and then I can throw them all together, throw some textures on them, quickly light and render out, and I don't have to spend any hard time actually crafting the presentation. It pretty much runs itself. So as a result, Showcase was born, and this is really a way for any designers or studios, whatever the case, to show off their designs in a really, really easy and customizable way. So yeah, I think I'm going to stop talking about it and actually show you guys what's all in this preset. Okay, so we're in Cinema 4D, and I'm just going to pull up the content browser. I already have Showcase Business installed, and just going through the elements here, we have business cards, CD sleeve, corporate folder, DVD case, envelope, dual CD case, letterheads, lighting setups, mugs, preset studios, as well as a special bonus item for you guys. We've thrown in some t-shirts too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the business cards. Oh, let's actually bring that up there. And you'll see there's 3 different ways in Showcase that you can display your business cards. You can display them through a fan, a grid, or a stack. Let's start with the fan. I'm just going to double click on this fan to load it into my demo scene. The demo scene really just has a little bit of lighting and the floor on it, but I want to take it away for the moment. And let's look at the options for business card fan. Under the sizing, you can change the X and the Y size. Everything will scale uniformly. We can take off rounded corners. There's not much of a difference there, so if we crank up the rounded corners there, you can see them there, and if we take them off, it goes back to sharp. Under the textures, this is where you load your artwork in. I'm going to load my business card front color and the business card back color. We have an option to change the color of the paper. So if you have just a Pantone or some sort of color that you would like on one of the sides, you can easily pop it in there. If you're not seeing your color or your texture showing, just make sure that Enhanced OpenGL is selected. The minute I select that, you can see the color comes in. And if I show my front texture, you can see those textures are showing there. And if I show my back texture, the back shows there. The nice thing with the sizing for the elements are, if I had to change the size now, the texture is going to adapt to the size of the card. I'm going to just reset those down to the default there. Spot varnish. What spot varnish is, if you don't know, if you have a little bit of a budget with a client and they can afford spot varnishing, it's a really nice way to introduce extra details. And the way this happens is the printer actually sprays a thin layer of varnish, which just picks up a little bit of highlights, adds some extra detail, and it's really, really nice. So that you can do that in here. And the way that you would do that is you would load an image with luminosity values. So a black and white image, 100% white being 100% reflection, and then black being 0% reflection. So you could pop those in there. I'm not going to show you those right now. You can do the front and the back, the amount that it's reflecting, as well as the amount that that reflection is going to blur. Under the showcase display options, we can change the amount of cards that are being displayed. We can change the inner radius. And another neat little feature is we have fan type. At the moment this is a horizontal fan, but we can change it to vertical to have more of a Rolodex feel. So if I increase those, the amount of cards, lower the inner radius, we've already got quite a cool little Rolodex effect happening right here. Right, let's move on to the next one. We have the business card grid. So I'm going to double click on that to load into my demo scene. What we've done here is we've laid out a bunch of business cards on an XZ plane with some options. Again, you have the sizing options to change your width and height, include some rounded corners. Textures are the same. I'm just going to load up the front and the back textures just so that you can see a little bit better, and I'm going to click show. Now you can see here what we're doing is alternating the cards, which is really cool. Spot varnish is exactly the same, and under the display options, if the amount of cards in the X from left to right is an odd number, you're going to get this alternating pattern happening. But if it's an even number, the front and the back of the cards are going to line up quite nicely, which is pretty cool. Obviously we can increase the amount of cards to whatever amount we want on the X as well as the Z. We can bring that right down to 3 rows. Space between the cards. If you want a single-sided card, if you only want to show the front, you can click on this option, and then it's going to change all the cards to a single-sided card. We've included some random controls. You can randomize the heading of the cards, the X position, the Z position. Let's bring that up a little bit more. Increase that randomness there, and you can change the seed there as well. Okay, that was the business card grid. Moving on to the business card stack. This might seem like quite a simple preset, a business card stack, but again, it's going to give you those controls that you need to set up your scene, and then from once you're comfortable with your startup, you can take it wherever you want. Every business, every identity is unique, and I think your render should be unique as well. For the business card stack, we've got the same options of sizing, loading up your textures. I just want to again load up the front texture there, just so that we can see it in the stack. We can include spot varnishes, and the display options, we can change the amount of cards, space between the cards. You can have a huge long stack there. It's really nice for animating them in and applying all sorts of different effects with them. We can randomize the rotation in the stack of the heading. We can also change the X position or randomize the X position as well as the Z position, just to get a nice layered stack type feel. Okay, so that was the business cards. Let's move on to the CD sleeve. I apologize if I'm going a little bit quick, but there are so many exciting elements to show you guys. And I could spend a day really going through just how useful this is. People obviously spend, I've heard of studios spending so much amounts of money when they do IDs that they actually do whole day photo shoots of the different elements, and to me it's such a waste. You know what I mean? If you're gonna do something, use the technology that's available, and I guarantee you now you're gonna get better renders, especially when you bring out a V-Ray version of this preset. You're going to get more realistic, more detailed shots than you will ever with a camera. And, it's something that will ultimately make you money as well. For graphic designers out there, use this to enhance your Behance account or your Behance portfolio and really just show off your stuff, man. You deserve it. Let's move on. Sorry. I'm going to open up the CD sleeve here. And we've got a cool little CD sleeve or CD pocket here for you guys. You can change the color of the sleeve. I want the sleeve blue. See the blues on there. The CD color, which is inside, you can't really see it well. Let's make it a bright pink. We have a front sleeve texture. Now I'm just going to find my CD sleeve color. If I want to show that texture, I'm just going to apply it. And you can see we've got our showcase design over here. I'm going to change that color back to its original, reset to default, just so that it shows a little bit better. Next thing up, we can show the CD texture. There's a CD in there, but we have no texture at the moment, so it's coming out black. Let's look for our CD color, and you can see there that our CD is showing inside. We can eject the CD if we want, and then we also have the option of rotating the CD or hiding the window. I don't know if you saw it there, but if I put the CD half in, half out, if I want to hide that transparent film that's in the middle there, I just have to click hide window and then it goes away. So my CD will effectively disappear into the little pocket that's over there. Cool. Okay, up next we have the corporate folder. I'm just going to double click that to load that into the scene. And let's just go through some of the options here. I'm going to first of all, we have an option to open the folder over here. So I'm just going to keep it a little bit open there. Let's start from the top. You can change the size of the folder in the X as well as the Y. You can increase the width of the spine. You'll see that the pocket grows with the folder as you grow it. The pocket width, this is at the bottom there. Let's just increase that. You can increase this or decrease the width of the pocket as you see fit, as well as changing the height of the pocket. Now textures, we can texture the outside, and I'm actually just going to go through this really quickly. Let's load up the folder front. I'm going to load the spine outside, folder front spine, and then the back outside. Okay, I can't see that now, but I'm just going to pan around here, and our textures still aren't showing. That's because we haven't clicked on show the cover outside texture, show the spine texture, and show the back outside texture. Cool. There's our folder over there. It's the company portfolio 2013. And I don't want any color on the inside, but I do want the pocket to be a solid color. And the nice thing is we can specify every panel with a color. So if I go to pocket, I can select the right orange. Just going to really eyeball it here, 170 and 60, and then it'll make the pocket a solid color. I can also copy this and paste it so that the actual gusset of the pocket is also the same color. What's nice is it avoids you having to create extra textures, and it really gives you that extra freedom that you need. So every panel is customizable in terms of color as well as in terms of a texture. Obviously, if I have to show the pocket texture, it'll probably go black. That's because there's no image loaded. So the image is always going to override the color. And there are display options. We opened and closed the folder earlier. We can hide the pocket in total if we want to, as well as we can change the profile. We have 4 different profiles here. We have the rectangle profile for the pocket, a cut rectangle which has a little slit over there, rounded was the one we saw earlier, and we also have a triangle which goes straight from the bottom to the right hand side. Cool, so that was the corporate folder. Moving on to the DVD case, I'm just going to double click on that to load it into our demo scene, and let's just get our angle right there. Textures. To load the DVD cover texture, you just need to select the image, and what we've done is we've combined the entire casing image or textures into one image. It's just going to help you guys load that up as quick as possible, and because the size of the DVD casing never changes, it's really going to make life easy. Under the show hide textures, you still have the options of hiding the different textures, so it still gives you that control, but it's going to import a lot easier for you. The paper insert, what that is if you open up the DVD case over here, you've got a little paper insert over here. Let's just load a texture for it. However, where is it? Okay, there we go. We need to show the texture as well. See, there's a nice little advert there for musecreative.net. Let's put in the actual DVD, which I've got a CD color here. We need to show that texture as well. I hope you guys are really seeing how quick and easy I'm doing this. It's really, I haven't planned this yet. I've just exported the textures a couple of minutes ago and I'm throwing them on as is. And you'll see it's all there, it's looking good. Another thing under the texture is under the DVD case. You can also change the color of the case if you want. Doesn't necessarily have to be a plain old dark gray case. It can be any color that you want as well. We've got spot varnish options for the DVD case or the DVD cover. Same things with the reflection amount and blur. You can do spot varnishes on the paper insert as well, and spot varnishes on the DVD. Your display options are you can show the DVD cover, and what that does is it actually hides all of the paper around it. So now really you're just looking at the case. You can show or hide the paper insert, show the DVD, hide it, hide the whole case in total. So now we just seen the custom elements, which is pretty cool, and obviously you can open or close it. Next on the list is the humble envelope. In a age where everything is email and electronic formats and save the paper, it's sometimes good just to send the good old-fashioned envelope on a nice stock paper, corporate letterhead, pre-printed out with your communication in the envelope. It's just the way to go. At times it really like brings you back. It's got some nostalgic feelings there as well. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm going to change this to lines, but we've got a little bit of weird geometry over here. However, because we're not distorting this envelope, bending it, it really doesn't matter, and the reason for this is because of the customizable controls here. I'm just going to leave it on for a minute while I do this. First of all, envelope sizing. I've included all of the standard custom sizes, DL, your C series, as well as your B series, and if you click on custom, then you can really make your own size envelope. You can also change the width. How do I do this? I don't know if you can see this properly. The window over there. Let's just zoom in there. You can also change the size of your window, width and height. And then I'm just going to change this back to like a DL, for instance. Your envelope textures, you can change the color of the envelope. The flap is its own custom colors for your designs. So I'm feeling red and green is just a really bad idea, but it works for now. Your front texture, let's load up the envelope color. Click on show front texture, and there you have it. Let's take off that over there. Cool. Got our envelope ready to rock and roll. Other nice things are you can put on a spot varnish for the envelope, and you have some display options. You can move the window around. So at the moment the window is showing right over this texture here, but if I had to render this out really quickly, you will see that, oh, never mind, it's intersecting through the floor at the moment. Let's move that up just slightly over there. If I had to render this quickly out, you'll see that the window is actually placed it over there. Cool. You can move your window around anywhere. You can hide the window in totality so that you don't see it. You can also increase the padding from the corner sides for your window, and then you can also raise the flap over there. Okay, that was the envelope. We've got a dual CD case. It's very popular in businesses to have a dual CD case as part of your corporate stationery. Under your options, we've got your paper insert, which is the paper on the inside of the jewel case. We have a front and a back texture. So let's just import the back. Wrong way around. Let's do the front and the back. Let's put in the CD texture itself. And let's show those different guys over there, just so we can get a better sense of what's going on. Spot varnish options as per usual. For the insert as well as the CD, you can hide the insert, you can hide the CD, you can close the flap over there, or you can rotate the CD around as well. Cool, that was the jewel case, quick and easy. Letterheads, a little bit standard, a little bit boring in terms of showing them, but I think it's definitely necessary, and as opposed to showing just literally a flat vector artwork, it's always good just to put them in a pile or do something with your letterheads. So here we have the letterhead stack. I'm just going to load up the front of the letterhead. I'm going to show that just so we can see it in action over here. You also have options of texturing the back, showing that, spot varnishing your letterhead, sizing. I've included all standard sizes over here as well. We've got US paper and we've got international paper. This goes all the way from A0 to A9. It's really going to cover you in terms of what type letterheads you'll be using. Again, if you change the size of your letterhead, your texture is going to adapt automatically as well as the width and height. You can, instead of adding textures, you can change the colors of the paper, the front and back. You can change the amount of letterheads, the spacing between the letterheads, random rotation, the random X position, and the random Z position. The other letterhead option we have is the Z fold. Again, it's very similar options in that you can texture the back and front. I'm just going to texture the front for now. I'm going to show that texture so we can see what's going on. We can put spot varnishes on the front and the back. Same sizing options, US paper standards as well as international paper standards. And then under our display options, texture colors for the front and back, as well as this handy Z fold over here. Again, when you're changing the sizing of your paper, it really doesn't matter. You'll see that the Z fold still works 100%, and you'll get a perfect result. Cool. Yeah, I hope you guys are still with me. Let's go to lighting setups. I've included two lighting setups here. It's really just starting lighting setups. I don't profess to be a lighting expert at all, but it's something really just to throw on, tweak, and then you can render your scene out as quick as possible. We have two options, which is natural lighting. You'll see over here I've got a sunlight object and two area lights that will light our scene, and for the studio lighting I've got 3 area lights, 1 full light, 2 room lights, as well as an overhead light there as well. So those are the studio light options. Mugs, which is something fun I wanted to throw in there for you guys. A lot of companies don't do them, but that doesn't have to stop you from designing your own mugs. They come in 3 really cool styles over here. I'm just gonna select the first one. And let's look at this mug over here. options are you can change the outside color. Keep on going to red, it's quite a funny color. So you can change the outside color if you want, as well as a different inside color. Change the amount of reflection and blur, and you can also put it in preview mode. This really helps if you're in a heavy scene, you just want to navigate around very easily. The preview mode is there for that very reason. Basically it takes off the hypernodes and you can just navigate really easy. The branding option, let's throw on texture. This is quite a fun robot texture that I found, and at the moment the reason why it's showing a little bit funny is because it's got some alpha. So let's remove that alpha, and you can see we've got this really cool robot texture that I found online, and it blends seamlessly. The blend stitch points is actually over here, which you can see, and template files will also be provided so that you know exactly where the holes in the mugs are going to be. But you can brand the outside over there. If you have a logo or something that's actually quite smaller, you can change the width and the height that your logo is going to be, and you can also position it around the mug as well. But as a standard option at 100%, this thing is going to wrap around seamlessly, and it's just nice, fun to have. You can also put alpha on your imagery. The way that's helpful is if you have a standard Pantone color or something that you want to incorporate for the outside, you can throw on a logo and then remove the alpha, not remove the alpha, but actually apply alpha, and then you'll have the color of the mug just with the logo branding on it, which is quite helpful. Cool, and that applies to all three of the mugs. They all three have the exact same controls. That's just three different styles at the end of the day. Cool, so I'm just going to get rid of that out of my demo scene. Okay, so in our studio folder, we have three studios. We have what I like to call the classic curve studio, half pot studios, as well as urban slate. Now let's look at the classic curve. I'm just going to load that up here. What it is really just an infinity curve, and you have some options on the type of curve. So that's the L curve. You have a C curve to give it a bit of a roof, as well as the U curve, which is going to put walls on both sides. All of the options, you can go into preview mode, which is going to give you a really low-res studio, something easy to navigate around. You can change the width of the studio depth, and this again applies to all. You can change the color of the studio. I mean, that's the one thing for me. Studios, when people do renders, are always white. They don't need to be white. They can be any color you need them to be, depending on your artwork that you're doing. You know, and don't always rely on lighting. Color your studio, color your whole environment, then light it. You have full rotation over all of the studios, and you can put reflection as well as a blur on the reflection on all of your studios. That was the classic curve. I'm going to show you the half pot studio. You'll see with all of the studios, the actual center point of the object is the place where you're going to need to start putting your objects and building your scene. The half pot studio is, I think, one of my favorites in that it's quite different. It really is, as the name says, it's half a pot with different curves. That's the L curve, and we've also got a C curve to give it a little bit of a roof there. Again, you can change it into preview mode. You can change the color of the studio, and then you can also change the depth of the studio. The Urban Slate Studio is also, it's just really one of my favorites. It's in preview mode by default, and the reason I do that is the minute you take it off, it just becomes a little bit messy to navigate around. Okay, it's a little bit light now, but you'll see as you get more geometry in your scene, the studio becomes quite heavy. Again, with some options, you can do the L curve, the C curve studio, or a U curve. With any of these curves, you can change the width of the panel. What's happening is it's cloning these panels here that make these little ridges. You can change the width of these panels. You can make them really thin, really fat. You can change the amount of panels, and it's always going to be centered no matter how you change your panels. If it's off center, just click off and it'll refresh itself. There's a nice gradient option as well from left to right. You can change the colors of these gradients. I'm going to make this more of a green to a, let's make it a yellow. And you can see the studio actually colors itself from left to right. You can rotate the studio around 360 degrees, increase the depth of it, and then the reflection and the blur as well. Okay, cool, so let's get rid of that Urban Slate Studio there. Next up, we've got the preset studios, and you'll see here that we've got preset studio number 1, 6 angles, preset studio number 2, and preset studio number 3 with 7 angles. What those are, if I actually, this will open up a new file. This is a, let's move those out the way. It's a preset up studio. It's got some basic corporate identity elements. You've got your folder, letterhead, envelope, your dual CD case, as well as business cards. The nice thing comes in here is that I've already preset up some angles on this. So if you go into the document here, I'm just going to hide these cameras because they are getting in the way a little bit. Just that you don't have to see them. Okay, on frame 1, we're focusing on the envelope here. Frame 2, this is the dual CD case. Frame 3, it's the letterhead as well as the corporate folder. 4 is the business cards. 5 is the envelope, corporate folder, and letterhead, and then that's it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 angles. And all you have to do is populate your elements. It works exactly the same. I'm going to show you on the next one how quickly it is to populate a whole scene. So that was the first one. This is the Preset Studio 1. I'm just going to close that down. And I'm going to open up Preset Studio 2. Preset Studio 2 is more of a aerial view of some corporate stationery. Very grid-like, very structured. You've got your dual CD case over here. This is the DVD case, envelope, business cards, mug, letterhead, as well as your corporate folder. And each one has the exact same controls as the individual elements by themselves. The last one is the Preset Studio number 3. This has got 7 different angles. I just want to show you the different angles here. This is a holistic view of the whole collection. This is to focus on the mug. And what I've also done is with every camera angle, I've also checked the depth of field. So when you render and depth of field is activated, you'll see that the mug will be in focus, but everything else will be slightly out of focus. And that's with all of the preset studios. This focuses on the DVD, on the letterhead envelope. This one focuses on the dual CD case, business cards over there, and another one of the envelope. Just a really different angle over there. So I'm going to show you guys just how quick and easy it is to texture this whole scene. Actually, I'm going to oh, you'll also see this has got the natural lighting presets on it, but again, lighting is strictly up to you guys. And let's go. We're going to start with a mug, and I'm just going to show that over there. Let's put on envelope texture. I want to show that too. On the mug, I'm just going to remove the alpha over there. So that's showing the dual CD case. I'm going to put in front texture. CD. Cool, and I'm going to put on a CD texture. Just going to activate those two. The letterhead, I'm going to put on letterhead color, showing the texture as well. The business card, let's put on business card front, business card back, show those textures as well. Corporate folder, I just want to color the inside for this one, so I'm going to go to panel colors, I'm going to go to the pockets, and I'm going to give the pockets an orange color. I'm going to copy that and paste it into the gusset so that color's the same. Classic Cove Studio, I'm going to leave it white there. The DVD case, I'm just going to do the paper insert because we can't see the cover, so it's not really necessary. Paper insert color, and then I want to do a DVD as well. I want to show the paper as well as the DVD. And that's it. The only thing that's not showing is our envelope. Let's have a quick look why. I'm just going to enable this business card or envelope color, enable that texture. Oh, enhanced GL wasn't on there. Strange. And there we go. I think that took me a whole of 2.5 minutes to customize the whole scene. And as you can see here, we've got the different angles showing every item in more detail. Alright, so those are the preset studios. I hope that you guys can really see how easy and customizable this preset is. And just how much it's going to change the way that you present your work. I'm going to close this down over here for the moment. And lastly, as an extra gift to you guys, we've got 3 t-shirts. Now, who doesn't like to design t-shirts? We've got a collection of 3 different t-shirts for you guys. We've got a golf t-shirt, a regular round neck t-shirt, as well as a v-neck t-shirt. So I'm going to load up the v-neck t-shirt over here. And let's just have a closer look at that. T-shirt's very stylized, detailed, very realistic, and very easy to brand. I just want to show you guys a quick example of how these t-shirts are branded. First of all, with the color, you can change the color of the shirt and the trim independently. This square over here is because of the alpha of the front branding. So if I had to go down here, I'm just going to bring this up a little bit. If I had to go to the branding alpha and say remove alpha, you would see I would have a solid A4 roundabout sized graphic. Now let's actually let's tone this down a little bit. I'm going to make this a warmish gray for the shirt. The trim can be white for now, and under the branding I'm gonna load up t-shirt print fine, which is an image that I got online. You can see here we've got this image of it's very intricate detail, illustrated bird and some flowers and some detail. Obviously we have the horrid rectangle around it. So if I had to go to the branding alpha and bring in my alpha map and remove that, you would see it looks a little bit weird. But if I had to render this out, even just a quick preview, you can see that we've got amazing fine detail and control over the printed element on the t-shirt itself. I think with my demo scene it's just cutting my t-shirt in half. I'm just going to lift that up there. Cool. With whenever we have alpha options, I've given the ability to crush the low and the high. You'll see if I had to put this at 0 at 100, which are more or less the default values, and I zoom right in here, let's just get over there, you might begin to see a little bit of anti-aliasing issues on some of the artwork, depending on how your alpha channel is brought in. But by just bringing the low clip up 10% and the high clip down 10%, it really gives you that control that you need. You can also invert the alpha, and what that's going to do at this moment is it's going to print the white surrounding areas but ignore the actual graphic areas over there, as you can see. Cool. The bump t-shirt, or the t-shirt bump, you can also increase or decrease the strength of the pattern influence of the t-shirt. We've covered all of the t-shirt color, branding alpha. We've also got label branding. You'll see there's a fine little detail of the little label down over there. Has no label at the moment, but you can easily bring one in and it'll just label that over there for you. I'm going to use the logo JPEG over here, and you can see it just pops it in over there. If I had to render that out, you can see it's a little ugly because it's got that white surroundings. But then if we use the same image for the, where is it gone now? If I use that same image as an alpha, let's invert that alpha as well. Okay, the way to get around this is I'm actually going to take off the branding image, change the branding color to white, and take the invert alpha off. Then what we're actually doing is we're using the logo image just as an alpha, but we're using a base color of white to shine through that alpha. You can change the color of the label as well, so now you've got white and red there, and it really helps you to customize everything. Hope you guys can see the detail coming through in the trim as well. Obviously from a little way away, this detail of this trim is going to come through so nicely, and it's really going to enhance your designs. Just going to let that render out. Okay, and there we go. You can see the wonderful little trim coming through there, a design shining through, very, very nice and neat. Before I wrap this up, I just want to show you guys the other two t-shirts. Content browser. This is the golf t-shirt, just to get a better look at it over here. Again, independent trimming and colors of the shirt. This label here I think has been removed, but you can easily just click on show label and the label's back over there. We just did the v-neck t-shirt. The round neck t-shirt, very much the same as the v-neck, only difference being that collar is round. Alright guys, that is the end of the introductory video. I hope that through this video it shows you just how beneficial this preset can be for yourself or your studio. Please don't hesitate to drop me a line should you have any comments or queries. My email address is eugene@musecreative.net. And thank you very much for the support. I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Cheers, bye.